All right, so here is my setup for everyone who is curious. This is a proprietary wire. I'm going to go back and clean this whole wire harness setup. I had to go in and splice in to get my AC to work because that wire broke when I was trying to work on something. I messed it up. But anyways, this is a high output alternator. It's made by Michael Singer. He answered 3 pages of questions. He answered a ton of questions. This is not a Y to delta like a lot of people do. They'll turn a Y alternator into a delta. They'll make the pulley smaller, and then whoop-de-doo. It's not that great. This one actually is still a Y. He just uses Y coil. He just uses really high quality components, and so he's able to get, you know, I bought a 200 amp alternator. When he bench tested it, it did like 225 or something like that. But when it's still a Y coil, it produces good amperage at a low idle, which is kind of a big deal when you only have a 4-cylinder that has an incredibly low idle. So I like that. Great alternator. I totally recommend it. Only thing that was kind of off was he put the stud over here, and he said if I specify that in the future, he can move it over, or if I even wanted to send it back, he can move it over, but I didn't want to mess with that. So just, you know, if you ever buy one from him, just make sure that you specify that where that stud goes. And he may have learned now because he did my car. But I would hands down recommend him. His alternator is wonderful. I had some other companies that made some really garbage high outputs. This one is amazing. So let's go from there. Follow the wire. One of them is been changed out. It's a high, low oxygen copper, or oxygen-free copper, something along the lines of that, for a marine boat. Holds really good amperage, and I just ran it in place of the stock, and it's going to come around underneath the way the stock does, over to here to where the battery is, and it's going to come up into this piece, and then this has been obviously an upgraded wire to here. And then so, you know, I've changed out all the stock wires. This goes down to the frame. So big 3 upgrade to frame, and then to transmission. And then over here I added this wire from, this is the stock wire, this is one I added, this is grounding the engine to the frame. So this wire comes up over here, circles around, 150 amp fuse is underneath this piece. You maybe can't see it too well. This I'll replace whenever I order some more parts, because they like to break. I'm sure some of y'all know that. And then you come over here, and it follows to right here. Underneath the ECU, there is a hole in the firewall, and I would put a bushing or wrap the wire or something so that way it doesn't get rub on the firewall and cause a hole. What I did was I took a piece of metal, cut it into a square, drilled a hole in it, and painted it black. Then I polyurethaned it to the frame, and then I used this little fitting bushing from Amazon, and I'll see if I can't find a link for you. If I don't put up the link, it's because I couldn't find it. But you don't have to do everything I did. The hole's right there. It's available. You don't have to do any cutting, drilling. You can just run something through. Just make sure the wire didn't rub. But it will go underneath the carpet, and then you just run it from the carpet at the firewall to the side of the car, so that way you never fill it under the passenger's carpet, and it goes down the firewall. Now, my car is a mess because I've been moving, so bear with me, guys. I got the passenger seat out, which will allow you to see this. This right here is my battery isolator. So obviously my power cord just travels underneath the trim. It pops out here, and it goes to this battery isolator right here. These wires go to the DC power outlets, and because they turn on and off when the car turns on and off, it will turn this isolator on and off. That way the 2 batteries aren't connected when the car's not running and draining each other of power. It's also, these wires are also on a 3-second time delay, so when I crank the car, the starting process doesn't try to pull juice from the back battery, which is not designed for cold cranking amps. And then it obviously just goes back to the back of the car. These are to keep it above the pan, so if someone ever spills something, it doesn't fill with water. And it's also because at one point in time, the pan was filling up with water, because a lot of you guys may not figure out where the water is coming from. They can come in from the seals in multiple different places. I can do another video about that another day. I've pointed out multiple times, so most people don't listen, so it feels kind of futile. But the pans do have butyl plugs, and they dry out and crack and fall out. So what it's best to do is you take your carpet out, you scrape out all the old butyl, get some tacky butyl, squish it into a ball, plug the holes, and then use a sheet of butyl, which is a sound dampening material, and put it over the butyl plugs, and then you pretty much won't ever have a problem again because you sealed it, and it will last probably 20 years the same way the previous plugs did. So so yeah, that's that right there. This will go to the back, and then I just have the battery grounded out to the frame in the back, and then I have a little fuse set up in the back as well. Just give you an idea how that sound damping works. Let me show you. I haven't done my back doors yet. I'm clearly involved with other stuff, but here is the back. That's the front, and then the roof. So, just want to point it out. But that's how I got it through. I just ran it down the side of the car, and then there's enough space right here that exists behind the trim where you can just push it in and get it in right here. So